Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Are you okay? In your neck of
When we dry them up, too cool. Now go too deep, you know. Yeah, you have to watch Joe, you know. Our troops, see there? Apple cider vinegar and our troops. Come up right, make them get saturated in the gravy and all of that. On today's episode of the Jamaican cooking journey, I'll be sharing with you how to make some Jamaican spice bun, otherwise known as Bulla. Now, Bulla is an ancient here. The band come here about Jamaican Bulla cake. But it is a very rough pastry. It's not a neat and fine. It's not a prim and proper pastry. It is a full belly thing where mostly use flour, some sugar. Back then they would use wet sugar to give it that beautiful flavor, or maybe some molasses, but wet sugar would be the order of the day, with a little nutmeg or something in it. But it would just be a flour based pastry. It is not a refined pastry that you sift out the flour to trap air in. No, it is a full belly rough pastry. Hence I am going to be modifying this little version of it a bit. Back then when I was going to school, they would make them in small ones, and it's round, big and round. Maybe the surface of this measuring cup or maybe bigger, okay? And then is a full belly thing. They would be big and them would have more just doughy, floury. So water was always the base with wet sugar. But on this episode, or on this tutorial, I'll be substituting some milk. Why milk? Because the schools in Jamaica from back in the days, they would give the children some bullas and they would call them Bulla. Those bullas, and I'm a Jamaican, can attest to it, those bullas were just definitely specifically for the schools. So I have in here some sugar, brown sugar, but it would be a darker, it must be a darker sugar, you know. But these days you don't get the dark sugars, so you have to work with what you get. I'm dissolving right in here the sugar with the milk, okay? All the wet ingredients. This is some vanilla, and I'm putting some vanilla to taste, yeah, mostly vanilla and nutmeg they would put in this. So this is the liquid. Mind you, you are going to add some melted and cooled butter in here. All right. Also, we are going to be putting in some molasses for the coloring. If you had the wet sugar like back then, you wouldn't have no problem. So this is basically what I am using as the wet ingredients. So I'm dissolving my sugar. My Maltese butter is in. We don't put eggs in Bulla. No, we don't. Original Bulla, we don't put egg in there. So I'm putting some molasses, probably about a tablespoon, and that is going to take a little time to dissolve. So I'm going to do that and return. And now this is our liquid, but I'm going to come back to the liquid. The molasses has been properly dissolved. If we were using water, it would be darker, but because I'm using milk will make it a little richer. As I said to you, I'm kind of stepping away from the old, like, original Bulla recipe. I'm just trying to modify it using a little milk, and I'm gonna make the sizes real smaller too. But basically back in the days it would be water, wet sugar, and your little vanilla and a little grated nutmeg. Now let's talk about the dry part of it. You're gonna need some flour. You don't need all-purpose flour. It's a rusty pastry, you know, a full belly pastry. Opt for bread flour or baking flour. Yeah, don't use all-purpose, makes it too light. It's a heavy doughy something. So I have here some. In Jamaica we can't get bread flour that much, so I use corn flour, a flour that has a lot of gluten. Now for this, I'm going to be putting about 3 of this. This is like smaller than a teaspoon. This is baking powder. You never know, maybe about half of a teaspoon or something, I don't even know. 3 of this in baking powder. 1 of this in baking soda. Yeah, as I said, you really don't sift the flour, but you could probably sift like your, you know, these things that you're gonna be using for your dry, what's these things? Your dry spices. You can sift them if they seem a bit lumpy. Gonna put 3 of this. This is cinnamon powder. This here is mixed spice. I'm gonna put just 1. I'm gonna get some grated, freshly grated nutmeg and return. Amount of nutmeg grated, half of a small nutmeg. Now salt, I have to put some salt. I'm gonna be putting about 2 of this in salt. So I want to measure over, and you can just get your little measuring spoon, family. Now watch me. Just get your measuring spoon and do your thing. I'm gonna put in about 2 of these because it's not corn bulla, you see, just regular bulla. My soon come. Now what I'm doing here, I am mixing all the dry ingredients thoroughly. Now you have to mix thoroughly because we have the baking powder. I don't know if it has happened to any of my Jamaican people. Back in the days, even now, sometimes when you buy bulla, you see a little white patch in there. When you taste it, you realize it's not properly mixed out. That is how this thing is a rough pastry. That's what I'm telling you. It's like a mass production thing. You taste some little white spot, and when you taste it, it's the bicarbonate of soda. It's not properly mixed in. So you have to know what you're doing. So this is how it looks, and I'm gonna mix it around some more. You do what you want to have to do. You see, you want to get it thoroughly mixed through. Now I want to say something about this. This I used milk. Normally the bulla when baked, it was of the color of this liquid here, or a little darker depending on what you want to put. So now you saw that the molasses didn't color it a bit. I don't want to put any more molasses or something to make it too bitter. That was enough. I'm gonna put me here some red label wine to darken my liquid a little, and I'm also gonna be adding a little browning. Remember, this is not the basic bulla recipe. This is just a modified version I'm dealing with. Gonna add a little browning and come back, and we're gonna put this thing together. Me soon come. Okay, so we are back. You see, I've added, you saw me add my red label wine. I added about a teaspoon and a half, or half of a tablespoon of browning, because I just use the milk, and because I didn't get the right color brown sugar too. You know, you want taste right now for your flavor. Good, that's good. Right here, if you need additional sugar, if you need additional spices, anything, you can know. For the dry mixture, you're tasting not even for the spice, but to see if you make sure say you have enough salt. Yeah, this is good. Let me mix around a bit. Let me mix around a little bit. So, old original name, Bulla. Modified, upgraded name, spiced cake. Look here. In Jamaica, certain class of people, they don't go for Bulla. They would, oh no, Bulla, I don't eat it. I don't buy Bulla. So, you know, Bulla is a thing, is a little down-to-earth thing. And so you know me is a down-to-earth woman. Yeah, in Jamaica, Bulla is a down-to-earth pastry. With the regular Jamaican, it we deal with. Yeah, full your belly one, and you have big one, and you have kids at home, you cut one in a 4, and little drinks, and any little thing, and we're good to go. Now we are going to put our spiced cake mixture together. You want to throw about a half of this. Yeah, and you want to start mixing around. It's just like a bun. You throw the liquid onto the dry mixture. It's just like you see the bun then we make like, oh, we call it now, Easter bun. Yeah, that's how you do it. So you are not looking for a too much of a moist, like cake like mixture right here. Yeah, so you see the color we get now that I added the little extra browning, and yeah, so we have to take our time, work this through first. It is not supposed to be a very you don't need egg, you don't sift it out. It is supposed to be a quote unquote, them, you see it tight? Yeah, it's supposed to be this texture. So when you check it out right now, we don't even want nothing too much more of that in this, you know. Yeah, we have got enough. Yeah, so look at this. We are going to work through all that white flour and something. We're going to clean our surface off a bit. So this, I told you before, it was a doughy pastry. You see all this doughy? Yeah, so Bulla pastry look. So we're getting this out of the way. So we're gonna put flour the surface, and look here, this surface you can flour it heavily because it named Bulla. And you hear the name Bulla, better yet spice cake. So now mixing this some more, and look here, I soon come. 20, your oven should be preheated at now. Yeah, Bulla we say you're just gonna give it, because it don't need no whole heap of kneading. It just like for stay, so you know, and so it love it. The perfect consistency of a Bulla. Yeah. So we want to see if we can get this out. Let us make a little, like a little semicircle, and then now we are gonna get it out into a rectangular shape. You can roll, but we don't want to do too much rolling because it is supposed to be at about ½ inch or thereabout thick. So you can just flour off your thing. Yeah. You try to make a rectangle. Yeah. And your oven, I said 320, 160 Celsius, 325 Fahrenheit. You're supposed to have in, oh, let us get it, it's not even. Let us roll it up again and come back. Yeah, so we have it where we want it, about ½ inch thick. Remember, we have the baking powder and the baking soda in there. But this thing is not something that is gonna like rise in volume. Like, oh, you see cake with egg and them something there. You know? It's just the whole heap of flour and them something there in it. So this is how you want it, this thickness. Now they have molds. So you can get a big mold if you want. It doesn't matter. I have these, both of them are like the same. So I'm use the cup. So you can probably like flour the edge of it, and then you want to cut one out. Up. Then you just look at that. These are the mini ones, remember I told you. So with some flour upon it and all of that, and you can cut out another one. These are the small ones. You have the bigger ones. I'm doing the spiced cake. Just like this, and you put it right there. So it depends on your mold, you know. So if you have a big mold, you just get a big mold. Suppose you want to get a Bulla this shape, or you have your mold. If you use this, you would get a bigger one, because most times they are very huge. But nowadays they have the mini ones. Not no prim and proper, no. There you go. It's a mass production rough pastry. That's what Bulla is. No? Cutting out as you go along. You can even call it mini Bulla if you want. It's up to you. Put them a little way apart on your tray. Yeah. Now you're gonna fold up back your dough. Easy for angle dough, you know, because if you have flour upon it sitting, not stick, and you not have it that it's sticking. That's why you have so much flour business with it. You know? You roll it out back again, get it properly back together. The pieces in between. It's not no prim and proper, you see? It's not wrapping with any saran wrap like you do with the, no. It's a rough thing. And any Jamaican that watch this and wish to speak the truth, you can tell me. It's not a prim and proper, nothing. Another one. There you have it. You got the picture. I'm gonna finish up those and return, popping them in the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes on a slow heat. The same temperature, 160 Celsius, 325 Fahrenheit, that you bake your homemade bun pan. That's the temperature. Okay? Okay, so we got these, and this is one that I made with my hand. That one you come a little way, but it doesn't matter. A little bit of a milk, slightly at the top, you brush it. This doesn't require egg wash. We're not making Danish. This is not a Danish pastry. So you just put with a little milk just to keep it moist. And that is why you put it in a slow oven too. So we are brushing with a little milk, room temperature of course. Yeah, if you just, you know, what I call it now, just moisten the top and make it look cute. I don't know how cute them you can look at. Bulla can cute. Bulla no Bulla, comment. I'm just brushing with a little milk. If you don't have no milk, you brush with little water. And these are nice with cheese. It's nice with avocado. It's nice with even the same milk that I'm using to brush it here now. And I have a sheet of wax paper that has not been greased, and it is down on there. So I'm gonna finish brushing these. I'm gonna come back when I'm popping into the oven. All brushed. Not the cutest, but remember, Bulla is not a cute pastry. Color, perfect. When you smell the pastry, when you pinch off a little piece and taste it, if you know about Bulla, straight Bulla. Into the oven we go for another 25 to 30 minutes in the middle right there. No popping over. Maybe at 15 minutes interval you come and spin around the tray. What at the front, go to the back. I'll catch you when these spiced cakes are ready. Okay, we're out of the oven now, family. And this is how ours would look when we were at school making them. We never make them big as the Bullas, but it's the same look. If you know anything about Bulla, and you still brush them with a little milk when they come out. Yeah, brush them at the top and brush them to the sides. This is the one that I use the last part of the dough my hand to form. Maybe those were a little neater back then, yeah, but I saw it go. This was, we call them spiced cake, but it's the same Bulla mixture. So you can use this and you can make your big broad Bulla them, but it's the same eats, the same look. And remember, these have to be properly cooled down to know. So you still use a little of the milk to keep it moist. Yeah, you know, use the melted butter because Bulla is not anything that carries a sheen, as I told you. Just to keep it cool. Help you cool it down and keep the top soft. I'm gonna wait until these are all cool, and I'm gonna come back, break into one, and show you what it looks like. Remember, when you see something pastry bake, it is always the best when it's cool. That is how you know what it looks like. You wait until it's cool. So me soon come. Gonna give it a little time to let them cool down. Probably not fully, but when it comes out, we would brush it at school with milk. Now maybe not everybody know, you know, because and everybody did in a homemade class, but we call them spiced cakes, aka Bulla. These are the mini ones, and the Bullas would not be so high too. Some of the Bulla them would have a little height like this, or you know, flatter, broader, and have a little but these are the cakes. So this is just it. I'll catch you back when they are cooled down, and I'll show you what inside of one look like when I break it open in the next clip. So these are it, except big one, big boy. So I'm gonna show you what inside of one looks like. You see how soft it is? It's not properly cooled as yet. And you see the top of it? We didn't want any melted, but I just brushed it with the milk, you saw me. So I'm gonna open into one, and this is how inside there looks. You see how springy it is? But mind you, this is still extra warm. As it cools down, it firms. But look at the color. This is the perfect color of a Jamaican Bulla. You have some clearer, and most times when people go, they always opt for this color. Yeah. So as I said to you, the baking powder and the baking soda together gives it this springiness. Huh? But mind you, it is warm. You can't determine the texture of a pastry until it's properly cool. As it gets cool and cools down, it gets firmer. So when you press, you can't squeeze it down like this. You will have it all firm. Let me taste for you. Yeah. Not to start a Bulla chop. And all that. Direct Bulla, and you know it's fresh. So you're not going to get everything. The flavors are not properly gelled in together. A glass of milk. Back in the days. Wow. I'm so proud of myself. When our grandfathers and fathers were farmers and they would work, make how many 100 hill of yam for the day as a one single person. They would break from the field, go to a nearby shop, get one. Not this size as I told you, it would be bigger, but I decided to make it in this size. They would get one of those, one Bulla, big, with a bottle of water from the spring, and that would be their lunch. And it would hold them, and if you know anything about that, your grandfather, your father, your granduncle, or whoever in the family, that's what would keep them, but with the wet sugar flavor and all of that. If you have liked this video, remember to give it a big fat thumbs up. Remember to make sure that you're subscribed to the Jamaican Cooking Journey. When you do subscribe, remember to hit the bell. Do all the nicest way you know if you do. In the description of this and all my other videos and lives will be the info to get on to me and all of those lovely things. Remember to be you, do you, and don't talk about say you don't remember Bulla. You are a Jamaican, you remember Bulla, but if you don't eat Bulla, that's fine.